myself Sunil Ranganath. This is the 73rd number part of the PHP. So one of the person do that the best of the example of the access modifier that basically we have already taken. That means one CEO basically can access up to what level? Then he told that whatever basically access which is given by the public company law, basically according to he can access, he can fire the people, he can basically hire the people. But manager basically can do anything? No, basically he don't have the access of hiring also. Basically nowadays basically he can't hire the people also basically. So one of the person was like higher basically authority is there to manage it. No, basically when he basically hires, that person basically have to reach to the CEO, director also. If director rejects, then there is no value of manager selection. So that type of basically the access modifiers basically are there in this system basically. So here one person told that access modifier are connecting up to the level. One prime minister basically can recruit chief minister basically. Why? Because he have the access modifier. One project manager can allocate the developer basically. So he can basically hire the developer. One client basically can tell that for example Sunil and I are basically searching the job. Wipro basically is the software company, but client is ICICI Bank. But if ICICI Bank say that basically Sunil or Nair is not supposed to get the job, then basically Wipro will not take him. If ICICI Bank say yes, basically take Sunil or Nair in job, then basically ICICI Bank will take. Why? Because they have the priority, they have the access basically. Same way basically Microsoft told that take Sunil or Nair basically in Microsoft. So they will take. They told that basically don't take Sunil or Nair in Microsoft. So they will not take. So it's connecting to the group basic. So that basically access modifier is something totally different basically. So that type of access modifier are also basically there. So that comes to here basically the example is public, protected and private. Public means the method or property or method can be accessed to everyone basically. Protected means the property or method can be accessed within the class and by class derived from the class. Private means only access within the class. So there are basically the so how to write down that public, protected and private basically. So like this basically the syntax is also basically given and what basically they do. So I have taken given one website link basically. In that basically you can write down the code and you can basically do the experiments basically. You can basically write down the code from mobile also nowadays basically, because you have got the access modifier of the website basically, that you can write the PHP code basically in the website basically and then write down and see the things basically what is the output. So you are traveling somewhere, you are going for some interview, that time you can basically do this basically. If you have some doubt suddenly basically got that अरे यार मेरे को ऐसा है, this was basically some doubt basically, so you don't need the PHP basically, you basically have the website basically. In that website only basically directly write whatever things basically it was. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the world basically has reached. From mobile also basically you can do the coding basically. If you can do from mobile from coding, sorry, if you can do coding from mobile, Then iPad, laptop basically are the normal stuff. These all are the normal stuff basically. So this all comes into the access. Mobile company basically has given the access to the website, and that's very dangerous also basically, because you are giving the access to the website. For example, one person told that we are giving the access of one person laptop to uh, few Gujarati group basically. We are giving laptop access to few people basically. So few people means what basically? User ID, that's all basically. So they basically have to just to add one user ID basically into that. So that is also access modifier basically. So one of the person told that whatever that person basically is doing in the laptop, no, basically we want the information. Instead of that basically we will give you 100 laptops. So that is also access modifier. But here basically the access modifier is connecting to the 100 laptop business basically. Then one of the person told that yeah basically yeah, that person basically is very dangerous in R&D. So this was tracked by the laptop industry basically. That is the whatever company with the HP, Compaq basically. So the competitor company basically given some money to whatever companies basically his laptop he is using. They basically started sharing the information of that person what he is doing the R&D. So that is basically also access modifier. So like this basically private life sharing, like this basically. For example, one of the person told that yeah Sunil basically is giving the applying for this company, but he is not getting the job. Why? Because he is divorcee basically, and in divorcee basically, people basically search the job, they basically don't get the job. So that is also access modifier. They have given the access that basically diverse group basically is not going to, like this in UP basically, if any person basically UP Bihar basically or Madhya Pradesh basically, if anybody do the second marriage, they basically have done some pap basically. Pap means they have done some bad thing, bad stuff basically. So that basically is the access modifier given by their culture basically. So from the person to the, that comes to the culture access modifier. So like this many stuff basically are there basically. This is just simple example basically I give. To see basically the access modifier example. So one of the person told us in simple language basically you have to understand the access modifier. Then only basically you can go with the programming basically. So one of the person told that before doing any programming, the best way is to write down in some paper the logic and then basically go with the programming side. So rough diagram basically you have to write down somewhere basically. That is the best way basically, because if you are doing into the programming basically your brain basically connect to the programming basically, and that time basically it would be very difficult if you are written somewhere in the paper basically, or basically you can write down the programming in some notepad basically if you don't like pen paper basically, because people say that basically if we are into the IT industry, then you who basically is going to use pen paper basically. So that type of mentality basically group can write down in the notepad basically. So that depends upon, but good way is this basically. So that is basically the access modifier basically. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this all PHP topic.